stockpile, pay the global debt. Stablecoin regulations, what's coming next? All-time high coming soon, crypto to the moon. Done with the meme, and it's moon season, stocks bleeding. Got them selling off for no reason. I'm the crypto buyer, watching numbers getting higher. Seeing all them gains, only time to get inspired. Getting to the bags till it's time to retire. Gotta run it up, I can't get enough. Down 10%, by the dip, I had to pick it up. From the bottom to the top, gotta hustle every day. No more struggle, gotta get paid. Money on the way, money acrobat. Flipping all this cash, low cap, 000 and a 1. Know you gotta get you some, I'ma tell it my way. Crypto running sideways, watch them bags catch a blaze. Most people gon' be late. Hey, 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 they're so. Yeah, we gon' never go. Crypto to the moon. We be heading there soon. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Get you some crypto. This that new system. Get you some info. 20022 talking ISO. RLUSD is what I know. Read the crypto Bible. I'm the disciple. The innovation stifle. Communities are tribal. No other asset class is a rival. Moon mission soon. No time of arrival. Waiting for that low cap revival. The charge just showing we follow the same cycle. They just got their money in the bank sitting idle. Crypto tells are idle. Old friends and fam feel entitled. I told them all about it and they're all in denial. Money's evolution, the digital revolution. Blockchain is a solution for all of the institutions. Just waiting for the execution and new of distribution.
Welcome, X-Tales fam, to another amazing episode of X-Tales Tell Your Tale. This week, we're diving deep into the wild world of crypto with a true trailblazer who's making waves across this community. She's a passionate content creator and a dedicated space host and a visionary community builder who's manifesting greatness bold steps at a time. You know her as World Be Free on X, for her insights sparking inspiration, and the co-host of the Sizzling Show, Dip a Toe, on YouTube, where she unveils the mysteries of cryptocurrency with wisdom and unstoppable energy. Get ready for an unforgettable tale of passion, purpose, and the future of finance. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Melissa. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me. What a nice introduction.
Man, hey, the best for you. You know what I'm saying? I messed up a little bit on it, but you're good though.
You're rivaling some of my intros. I like to do that too. Give somebody a little spotlight.
Yeah, you know, we got to show love to people, you know, especially when they're doing big things, the great things in the community. And I'm honored to have you on the show. I'm glad you're here. So let's get straight into it, man. So I like the energy that you bring on your show, Dip a Toe. And if you can, just take us back, you know, to the beginning. I want to know more about you. Like, where did you grow up and what shaped your, you know, creative side?
Oh, wow. You want to know where I grew up first?
Yeah, why not? Let's get to know you.
All right. Well, some of you might have already heard this. I was a guest on the Chart the Course podcast with Ness Force, interviewed me. He found out what my first job was, and that was the snake baby, the baby in the snake tank.
What's that?
That was my first job. I was a baby in the snake tank at the carnival.
What?
Yeah, I know.
It was like a live snake.
It was a live snake, one of those great big snakes that you wrap around your neck, you know. And somebody thought it was a cool idea to put the little red-headed baby in the middle of the snake tank with the snake around it. And I was right next to the bearded lady.
Wow.
Yeah.
You honestly blew my mind with that. I wasn't expecting it to start off.
Nobody could guess it if they tried. Yeah.
Wow.
So when I was little, I was what they call a carny kid. And
Okay. I didn't know that was actually a real thing, but all right.
It's a real thing.
Where were you born at? Like, where was this going down at?
Michigan.
In Michigan.
It was in Michigan. Yeah. So we traveled around the different carnivals throughout Michigan, and then we would go to Florida and travel in Michigan's off season and go do the circuit in Florida. And
wow. You were a real deal in there. You wasn't playing around with it.
I was not playing around. No.
Did you ever get bit by the snake ever?
I did not. And, I didn't even know that I was the snake baby until I was probably about 11 years old. And when my mom told me the story, and I'm like, where my money at?
Wow. So do you think like all that you done like back in the day, as far as, being the snake baby, do you think that created like, sort of like a creator, mentality of you just, kind of just doing stuff? And is that where all your passion comes from, your creative side? Was it started then?
Well, I would say it could have had some kind of subliminal thing. I've been scared of snakes ever since. I didn't know why. I was so terrified. But when I was younger, I've always been I like to sing and dance, and I'd ham it up. I was the kid that walked around and wanted to be the waitress at family gatherings and, pretend I was an office person or whatever. I just was always acting. And then when I was in high school, I got part of a group called the Corner Theater Troupe. And so what we were peer educators, and we would do improvisational theater on issues, common teen issues, whether it was divorce, drug use, emotional issues, that sort of thing, coming of age issues. And we would all develop our characters, and our head person would give us the topic that the school or wherever we went to perform what they had requested. And we would develop our characters around the topic. And then boom, we would just act. We didn't know what the other one was really going to say or whatever. And so we would do our little skit, and then we'd break character, and we were peer educators then and answer questions. We would answer questions in character, and then we would break character after and answer questions as peer educators. So it was pretty fun.
So you were just a born performer then at this point then?
Apparently so.
You're good at improv, and that might have started off, your whole experience and wanting to just, give a show and show off, tell what you gotta say. That's dope, man. I love that background, man. So before you became like a content creator and, a community builder and all that, what were you passionate about most, before you started getting into, the whole financials of crypto?
I've always been real passionate about my family. So I grew up on welfare when I was little. Okay. Didn't have a lot of money. I knew how I kind of was treated, and how my family was growing up, and I didn't want my kids to have that same experience. And so I was very focused on raising my kids, and making sure that they had what they needed in terms of encouragement to develop into to happy, productive members of society, where they knew they could do whatever they wanted to do. And so that was a really big part of my life. And then when, of course, they grew up and they have their own kids and families now and all of that, I'm an accountant. I went to school for accounting. And so I've always been fascinated with finance and that sort of stuff. When I stumbled onto the crypto, I realized I didn't know shit about money. Really real, like being an accountant and working in that and numbers every day and transactions and debits and credits, and then really realizing that I didn't really know how money worked and where, the whole structure of things. And so I got real passionate about learning about that. And then, of course, I stumbled onto crypto and holy smokes, is that a can of worms?
Life has been crazy ever since, huh?
Uh-huh. Exactly.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Having a financial background, it kind of helps you, see it in a different light also, because this whole crypto thing is really new, but there are some elements to it that are a little, the same with the traditional system. I think crypto will evolve that system over time. So I think you set yourself up for success, having that background and, being an outgoing, talkative person who likes to share. And I think building a presence on X and speaking of that, like in your bio, you mentioned like manifesting greatness and like community building. So what does like manifesting greatness mean to you?
Oh, that's a good question. I think it means believing in yourself and seeing where you want to be and putting your feet in the right direction and working towards that direction always. Don't surround yourself with people that are going to pull you away from where you want to be, right? Recognizing the environment that you put yourself in, because your environment has everything to do with how you turn out. If you allow yourself to stay in a place where people are negative and not supporting you, they're just a distraction in getting you where you want to go. And I truly believe that we can be whatever we want. We can do whatever we want. And, like I said, growing up on welfare, I see Gmail Brown said free cheese was good, though. Yeah, it was. Everybody, you know what, Gmail Brown, everybody wanted our cheese. Like we didn't have no food, no money, whatever, but they'd come sniffing around wanting to take our blocks of government cheese. Like, no, you're not getting the cheese. Stay away. You got money to buy your own cheese. But, growing up on welfare and having people look down on you, and really not being around people that I could even emulate, right? But yet somehow I would see some folks, so like whether it was my friends' parents or, like I said, I got involved in the improvisational theater, which puts you in circles of other types of folks. And yes. I recognize these are the people that can show me what I need to do. And so I'm just living proof that, you put your mind to it, you can do anything you want. You have to believe in yourself. And sometimes that's hard to do, but I did it.
Yeah, I have a similar background. I came from humble beginnings also. And I think crypto actually gives people the opportunity, to change their narrative. And I think that's why we're all here, to share our stories, to, show people that there is light at the end of the tunnel and there is a way, to get out of what you're doing. It just takes a little bit of research, takes a little bit of work, but the crypto opportunity that's given to everybody, it could change your life, man. And you got to take advantage of it, especially, if you're tired of living the way you've lived, or, you've had the generational curse, as a lot of us have, so let's move to the world of crypto, where you're making a big impact and all that. What was like your first encounter with cryptocurrency, and was there any specific moment that made you say like, this is the right thing, like I made the right move?
Well, I first heard about Bitcoin back in 2000, maybe like 8 or something, 9, somewhere in there. When my youngest son came and told me, Mom, I want to buy this Bitcoin stuff, this electronic money. And I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. And he's like, oh, so-and-so bought it and he used it for something and it works. And I'm like, no, that's like, I don't know anything about it. You're not going to spend money on it. Well, how dumb was that? Right. I tried to research about it back then, but every, area that I came upon that was talking about it, it was extremely complicated sounding. The people that were talking about it were very dry, over explaining things. And I thought to myself, like, oh, I can't figure this out. I don't have time to figure this out right now. And so I didn't. And then, I, through my research of other topics, I stumbled upon, I used to follow this account called X22 Report.
Hey, I
He
like
is really,
Report.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he got some sick videos. Hey, if
uh-huh.
y'all ever heard of X22 and y'all really want to know what's really going on in the
Hmm.
background that's not being lied to, yeah, that's definitely one to check out. But yeah, what were you saying?
Well, he had this fella named Bitcoin Ben on, who CKJ knows Bitcoin Ben very well, because like he's back in, he's the old school guy, in crypto, particularly XRP. But so anyway, I came across Bitcoin Ben, I heard him speak, and he resonated with me with the things that he was saying. And around that same time, my boss had talked about Bitcoin a little bit. And I think this was in like 2019.
Okay.
And he bought us all some Bitcoin through this Give Bitcoin. Swan had a deal where you could gift someone Bitcoin,
Okay.
and then they had to leave it in their wallet for a year, and they would send you emails and educate you on the Bitcoin and whatnot. And then after a year you could move it out of your wallet. That was kind of part of the education process. So anyway, in the interim between being able to take it out, I started following this Bitcoin Ben guy, and went to a couple of his conferences. And the more that I studied and learned about Bitcoin and started asking more about money, the light bulbs just went off, and I quickly felt. And then after that year went by, the $50 or $40 that my boss had put in, that had gifted us, was $330 or something when I took it out. And I said to myself, I might have should have put some more in when he did, And then I was hooked. After that, I'm like, okay, there's some real possibilities here. So you just dip your toe a little bit, you see that financial gain, and you're like, okay, you got my attention now. But it was so much more than that besides the money. But
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it takes though, because when I first got into crypto, it was 2018, and I was telling a lot of people at the time, like, man, you need to learn about this crypto thing. Like, I've already made some good money, and I think this is going to be like the future of finance and all that. And nobody wanted to hear anything like that. It's a scam, it's this and that. The mainstream narratives and all that. But once I opened my wallet after the first bull run, and they're like, where can I get some of that? So I guess it's the proof is in the pudding at that point. It's like they have to see it to believe it, and that's just how it goes. So crypto can be like an intimidating space for newcomers, even for people who are OGs in general. So what was it like for you, like the first time learning about blockchain or cryptocurrency, digital assets, or so many names for it? Did you have any mentors or people that helped you along the way?
well, this is the super cool part. So yes, because I got involved in the Bitcoin Ben group and went to the conferences, I met a whole bunch of wonderful people at this conference, and then we became fast friends. He had a Telegram, but we had all met in person. And the reason, so I had been following them all in this Telegram group and talking with them and all, but I am a real vibe. I got to see your face. I got to see your eyes. I got to feel you, whether I'm going to trust you or not. Right. People are great over the internet and all, and you get to know each other and stuff, but I want to feel you for real. I want to feel your vibe. And
Yeah.
so that's why it was really important for me to go to these conferences. And, that's one thing I'll say about the crypto communities, no matter what chain you're really happy with, and that resonates with you, the people are just wonderful. It's like they're dreaming big. They're dreaming big, and they're all trying to lift each other up. Yeah, there's the scammers out there and stuff, but for the most part, the people are just wonderful. And so having a community of folks around me, I met Simon, my co-host on Dipito.
Okay.
He was one of the first people that I met, and he had been in crypto longer. And so, you've got that stair stepping bit going on with all of us that have come in at different times, and the willingness to help each other is just remarkable. And so that's why, with the Dip a Toe show, that's what we're trying to do, is help those that are dipping their toe and providing a safer environment of folks, because we're all kind of like magnets coming together, right? And we all want to lift each other up. So
yeah, for sure. I definitely agree on that. I've been to a couple of community meetups. I did a couple of moon parties with bags. I've met people different all over the world, and the thing about crypto is, like, it doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter your race, like, to have the same thoughts of what the future could be, utilizing this technology. It just brings people together, and there's nothing like, coming together with people with the same likeness and, creating stuff, building communities and creating things that's never been created before. So as far as like the Dip a Toe show you were talking about, let's talk about it a little bit, because this show is, is helping people, access the information and to help them engage in the space in a way. And I wanted to know, like, what inspired you the most, starting this show, and how did you team up with your co-hosts to bring this vision?
Well, so initially, a friend of mine, Christy, who has she's a Bitcoiner, that has a radio show called Tokens Radio, in California. And she and I formed Vita Broadcast Network together, and we were going to do a streaming radio station where we had different shows on that talked about all kinds of things, not just Bitcoin and crypto, but also, so maybe have political shows on there, maybe have health shows on there, whatever.
Okay.
And so we had our show called Beyond the Brink. And towards, I don't know, maybe after a year of doing it, she wasn't able to do it any longer. She was not able to go to a couple of shows. And so I said, hey, Simon, would you be willing to come on Beyond the Brink with me and be my co-host, because Chrissy can't be in? And so he came on, and everybody loved it. Everybody loved the dynamic between the two of us. And so then I thought, like, hey, maybe we should just have a show called, I created Dip a Toe. And he said yes. And then eventually Beyond the Brink and Vita Broadcast Network kind of went away, and I've been solely focusing on the Dip a Toe show.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long has that show been going for?
It's been a little over a year now. I want to say, like, maybe we formed it like in October. So November, December, January, February, March. That's probably been about a year and a half.
Okay.
A year and 5 months or something like that. So, well, plus the shows that we were doing when it was Beyond the Brink, because we kind of started on that. But so yeah, we've been together doing something for the past couple of years anyway.
Okay, I like that, man. For all you guys in the chat who has not ever seen Dip a Toe show, you're sleeping. Stop sleeping. Go check her out. She has great information. It's a good engagement, and you'll love it, man. So shout out to you guys over there at Dip a Toe for everything you guys are doing for the community, man. We love it. So you've been in crypto space for a while now. What's been like the most surprising or exciting part of this journey? Anything like that stands out, like a certain moment or certain project maybe you discovered? Like, what do you think?
I mean, the thing that shocked me was, like I said, going having $40 of Bitcoin turn into $330 in a year was pretty remarkable to me. Small ball money. I think the biggest welcome surprise, like I said, is the community, and how it really makes you think about money, and structure, how things work, and go, following the money type of thing. So when you meet a person that's in crypto, you're not just meeting somebody that's thinking about money only. You're realizing how tied together everything really is. And so just the wealth of information that flows in once you crack that seal.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking about backstage about like the different rabbit holes that following the money takes you down, man. And it's a crazy journey, man. It's a crazy journey, and
Mhm.
knowledge is power. I think and I
Amen.
think we're better off, knowing what we know and maneuvering in this industry before it takes off. So,
Yeah.
are there any like underrated projects or maybe technologies in crypto that you think deserve more attention?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that. So here's my thing. I'm not one that believes there's going to be one chain to rule them all. I believe that it's going to be an interoperable thing. I believe that's what we need. Actually, you don't want one chain to rule them all. We want choice, and I see a lot of different projects out there that are that are doing things. And every time I come across things, I'm like, "Holy smokes! There's another one!" And so I remember about maybe a year or so ago, or a little longer, there was a big battle over this XPR network
Mm,
and Metallicus, and I see value in that. I'm going to research a little bit deeper into it, um, because they're working with the community banks, the small banks, and the credit unions. And when you parallel that and look and see what they're talking about in these hearings, we're going through the legislation. It seems like we're working on a lot of stuff when it comes to infrastructure, rules, regulations, precedents, all that stuff. It's tied together. There's been a lot of hearings where they've circled around the community banks and giving them more power to do business. And so when I stumble across a project like XPR Network and Metallicus and know that they're specifically working for those, I can't not dig into that a little deeper. So,
oh,
anybody, if you're sleeping on looking into that, I think you really should take a look, do your own research. I'm going to do mine.
yeah. Why do you think that wasn't like received well? You think it's because it's too close to XRP?
Maybe, perhaps. So this is what I think too. So you got your Bitcoiners, you have your XRP
Yeah.
battlers, XLM, all that kind of stuff. It's really a disservice to yourself to put yourself in a box. I always say I don't want to put myself in a box. Don't label me. Don't tell me that I can't like something because you don't like it or whatever, because it's not going to go over well. Like I want to research all possibilities, and I think no matter, like, some people, they only have so much time, right? The way that the world is set up now is that they keep us tired and busy. They
Yeah.
keep us pooped out. And so a lot of us that get into it, they simply don't have the time, and they put a lot of hope into one narrative that's being pushed to them. Some people might come across the quote unquote influencers that are just, they're screaming at the rooftops, it's this, it's this, it's this, it's this, and that's all they look at. And so if you tell them anything outside of what they thought, they may feel threatened by it. And
Yeah.
I say, don't feel threatened, embrace it and realize that there's something big. And then the other thing I think is, I think there's a lot of manufactured arguments, uh, that there are people that are intentionally trying to sway people and divide us because that's what they like to do, no matter whether it's religion, race, you know your income status, your crypto, whatever. The more divided we are, the less powerful we are. As soon as we all come together and realize, like, we're all in this together, holy smokes, the game's over,
The
right?
game's over for sure. Divide and conquer is the plan, but it's not
Yeah.
happening in the community, man.
Yep.
Because we're over here setting the stage for the next people who come after us, and we're gonna pay the way as pioneers because that's what we do. So I would say crypto can be like very volatile at times. How do you stay calm during these price swings?
Because I know what I hold. Yeah, I mean, because so if you truly do your own research, and I know everybody says that, and it kind of at some point can get to the roll your eyes, like, oh, whatever. But research it with the goal of understanding what you hold, understand how it works, dig deeper than price. understand that they're building the new infrastructure for the new financial system that's going to go a lot longer than 100 years, like the traditional system that we're in now, where it ends up failing after 100 years. They know it's going to fail, right? So when you can understand that it's more than just a 10-year plan here that's going on, you have a bigger understanding of what you hold. And so when you know that and you have a plan, it doesn't matter. I'm not looking at my charts and all that stuff. Yes, it's fun to hear about it's going to go to the moon, and I make jokes and stuff like that. Eventually it's going to go to the moon. And if you just look at the parallel, like Bitcoin and even Doge or whatever, it's a joke until it's not a joke anymore. Yep. Bitcoin was for criminals only until it's not, until it's in your 401k plan, right? Exactly. And you look at the price moving on that. And so, I got some time. I got some time. And if I'm gone before my time comes, then it can go to my kids,
Yeah. Hey, that was the best answer, because I would have said the same thing. Knowing what you hold is key in crypto. Not only does it help you hold through the swings, but it allows you to feel motivated to keep accumulating, because over time you're going to want to take profit, but you're not going to want to deplete your bags at the same time. So you're going to have enough crypto, so when the prices do hit those prices that whatever moon is to you, you can take out some and still have some, for the long term, so I would definitely say that's the key, man. Know what you hold for sure.
Well, and every moon is different, right?
Yeah,
it's different for every person. Like one person cannot tell a bunch of people what they should or shouldn't do when it comes to stair stepping out or whatever. You don't know what that person holds. You don't know how old they are. You don't know what their goals are. You don't know how much money they need. I mean, there's a lot of questions you need to ask yourself. So I mean, people to ask themselves questions.
Yeah. And that's why I did the song Moons and Millions, because like you said, everybody's in a different place. So moon to somebody else might be moon to somebody else different. You know what I mean? So there's multiple moons, but there will be millions made. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. So what's like a top tip you would tell somebody to staying secure in the crypto space?
For staying secure. Well, I would say don't use a clean browser if you're using your desktop. Depending on what you're, if you're just holding cold storage or an offline computer that hasn't been used for searching the internet or anything else, with an email that hasn't been used or searched for anything else, don't use the coupon email where you're getting 1,000 emails, and keep it kind of dedicated towards that. Kind of separate your bags out if you're if you want to play around with NFTs or altcoins or anything like that. So give yourself a little play bag where it's not anything you're going to be upset about losing, right? Just be real diligent. Don't go around telling people how much you hold, and make sure that you're when you're setting these things up, that you're prepared to write down everything that needs to be written down. Don't take pictures of it. Don't save it on your computer or your phone, and have that secured in a safe place that's waterproof and fireproof. And that's like the biggest thing. It's like slow down when you're doing it and think about what you're doing.
You definitely have to be cautious in what you do. I like the idea that you said of having a hodl bag and a tradle bag. You want to mess around with some memes, you want to mess around with something, you have that completely separate from your main bag, so there's never any issues, crossing that up. But I would say is there's a lot of scams in crypto. There's a lot, like even between some YouTube videos, it's like, fake AI Brad Garland House is asking you to send money and it will send you money. Nah, like don't ever trust none of that. Don't hit links you don't know. You're not sure what you're doing. Ask somebody, especially from the community. There's so many Telegrams, there's so many X spaces, there's so many good people in this space. Find somebody that'll help you out. It's not a bad thing to ask for help if you need it. but don't just be responsible in the decisions you make, because I've been hacked, and I would say I'm a pretty like I'm gonna say I have a scholarship in cryptology because I've been in a while. I've done it, everything. I've lost it. I've got hacked. I've dealt with it all. So you just want to move in the right way. But
You know what? I'm glad that you're bringing this up because it's a friendly reminder to all of us that have been in this space for a while. Because sometimes we get lazy. Hey, Simon. Sometimes we get lazy or we get comfortable. We get real busy and we think we know everything when we really don't, or we forget things and that sort of thing. And I had a gal the other day. That had Coinbase call her and say that her transaction wasn't going through or whatever. And anyway, it's like Coinbase is not going to call you
they're
ever.
never going to
They
contact you.
don't.
They're not
But
going to send you a message. They're not going to. Yeah.
no, and that's the thing. So it's if I can just recommend something to someone, calm down. Because we get scared, especially if you got money and you're thinking like, holy smokes or whatever. Calm down, do some research, go to the Coinbase website directly, look at what they say. They've got a blog about it to talk about it. They have the phone number on there. If you do have a problem, and they tell you to lock it down, and there's all these different things that you can do when something like that happens. Or like Simon said, ask somebody, but don't do it. Don't go clicking on links. Don't be telling people stuff. Because we all know that, right? Don't tell people, never tell people your secrets.
Yeah, and don't disclose your portfolios. Nobody cares how many of this and
No.
that you got. Like, don't make yourself a target, man. That's what it's really about. So
Amen.
as a woman in crypto, has there been any challenges that you faced? And why do you think there aren't as many women in crypto space?
We were talking about this the other day, and I guess I have a little bit different point of view. I see a lot of women, myself. Um, Obviously not as many as men, right? There's not as many as there are men, but that's kind of the way it is, right? In the
Mhm.
world in general, when
Yeah.
it comes to, it's just the way it is. I wouldn't say, like, I heard someone say that they thought maybe just women just aren't interested in it and that sort of thing. And I don't necessarily think that's true.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Um, I think we're out there. We just might not be as vocal. But there's, having shows like yours and the communities that I'm in, we're starting to band together. And that's another thing with the Dip a Toe. Like, we've had ladies night. I try to have women on, different ladies, just to show, because once we see it, then women are like, oh, I could get involved in this too. Right.
yeah.
Because
Yeah,
women are smart. I mean, like, they're every bit as smart as men.
yeah.
And the men in this, now, while there are some jerks, I say the men they love the ladies being in it. And you guys have all been very respectful and lifting up of the women in the space. And I think it's fantastic. And so, I say we just keep showcasing it, and being encouraging, to the women that are in the space, and you'll see even more pop up.
Man, I agree with that, and I like that answer. I've always wondered why, and maybe over time things will change. But I think just encouraging people, you coming on the show and showing that this is not a guy thing. Money's for everybody, finances for everybody, being financially literate is for everybody. So that's what I would say. So
What
on
you
the
speak comes into reality, right? So
yeah,
if we speak it and we say, man, there's a lot of women in crypto. They're all
they're
over
out there.
the
They're
yeah.
out there. They're out there for sure. So on the show Dip a Toe and X and stuff, you help others navigate, this crypto space. What's one piece of like advice you wish you heard, like when you first started off, that would, that you can tell like a newcomer that will help them avoid the same mistakes you made?
Mm, well, don't let everybody else dictate what you buy. If you have, so quick story, I felt like God led me to XRP, which I know for some people are like, oh yeah,
Oh,
okay.
you know what's crazy though? You're like multiple people told me this same thing. And I'm starting to believe that's like the same with me because it's on a whole other level. You know what I mean? But continue though.
So, as I'm doing my research, I told you I got in through Bitcoin. And so I had all Bitcoin friends and that. And I was doing my own research and I came across XRP. Didn't know anything about Ripple or any of that stuff. I didn't know any of that. I just found Ripple. I started, or XRP, and I started researching it. And my gut instinct said, buy it. And at the time, I had money. I had some money that I normally didn't have. So I bought me a little bag, and I told my friends about it, and they said like, oh, that's the banker's coin, and it's, yada, 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 all these things. And so I said to myself, like, oh gosh, you're buying what the enemy, stuff and all this kind of stuff. And so I sold my bag back into Bitcoin. And a couple of days later, I said to myself, no, damn it. Go with your gut. God showed you this. You do you. So I bought it back. I lost 1,800 coins in the process for the same amount of money because it was going up, right? So I guess I'm saying, like, it was, XRP was choosing for me, not by me. Oh, it's a miracle that I even found it. I mean, so I just follow your own instinct, listen to yourself, do your own research, and realize that people that are telling you things, and even people that you love and respect, they don't know you. You know you do you. If you see things through your eyes and you have your own relationship with God, and you just do you. Don't let somebody else sway your opinion like that. And so that was a lesson that I learned early on, and I'm a little bit bitter over it, but I'm just letting it go.
Hey, we've all been there. We've all learned the lessons of being in crypto. I will say one advice I would give people is not to leave profits on the table. The price swings dramatically. When it's bull run time and we see those prices going up, we're like, man, this is that time. We're going to the moon, and then the next day is down again. You know what I mean? So I would say, just not do a lot of trading. Don't be part of the whole trading game because you're never going to time the market correctly, but just have, some basic levels where you're like, okay, I should take out some money, put it in a stable coin because it has gone up maybe 20-30%, and there will be a retrace. There's always a retrace. It doesn't go on one straight line. So take some profit, put it to the side so you can buy back on a dip later. That's what I was.
Can I tell you? So the thing is, I've been in it long enough now to trust that. Okay. So, but before, when you're first getting into it, you don't know who the hell you could trust, what people are saying, because there's all kind of crazy stuff. People are telling you, sell, buy, and it is a very crazy time to where you don't know whether you should or not, right? Because the fear of losing it, not being able to buy it back in, and all these types of things. And so, a lot of things take time for you to experience yourself before you can trust. Once you see the pattern. Now, I do think with tokens like XRP, they might not forevermore hold those patterns like they have in the past. I think because I think it's unique to some other things, but I do believe in what you're saying, and I have to do better, and I'm going to try to do it this cycle because before I was kind of actually, when you're coming in, everything's riding up. I have a terrible theta story where it was all my friends telling me to buy it, and it was like $12.25, and it's going to be the new next YouTube and all this stuff. And and then after I bought it, it was like down. And and Simon was the one that told me, you don't lose until you sell. So just hold on to your bag. And I'm waiting for that sucker to get back to $12 so I can get out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When you said theta, it kind of struck a chord with me because I had my own situation with theta. I had got in early. I think I bought it $1 or $2, and I sent it to the wrong address and lost it.
Oh no!
Yeah, so yeah, theta has been one of those ones for me where I've had a pretty terrible experience also. But hey, you're a pioneer, you make mistakes. You know what I mean? You
We
don't
all
know.
do,
You know?
right?
Yeah. So yeah, it happens to the best of us. You know, that's how
Yeah.
it goes. So the crypto space is always evolving. New projects, new trends, meme coins, technologies popping up constantly. Where do you see your journey taking you next, and what excites you most about the future of crypto?
Man, I don't know. There's so many things that I'm excited about when it comes to this. Really watching everything interoperate with each other. Um, you know, I'm excited to see more people come on to, like, say, the XRP ledger. There's a lot of people building projects, wallets, all different types of things to give the little guy the opportunity to use it for what it was designed for. And I'm really excited to see how that goes, and if we can really get businesses, the small businesses, tokenizing their business and doing peer-to-peer commerce and all this stuff. I think it'll be really interesting. Unfortunately, I think it's probably going to turn out like the internet, right? When things first came out, we were all teaching ourselves how to do web pages and HTML and hooking up our own computers and our dial-up and our emails. We set up our own email accounts, and there was the local internet provider down the
America
street.
Online.
Right, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, back then, we're learning your thing, and the other people weren't really doing that, and then they just automatically made everything where it was easy, to where those things all kind of went away and everything was done for you, right? Because we're just like a do it for us, we're too lazy kind of society, and that's going to happen. So
Yeah.
what I'm really hopeful that we can inspire as many people as possible to gain an understanding of what's happening here and actually build something, because the more of us that build on this, the harder we are to stop together, right?
Yeah.
And make it as easy for others to participate as possible. So that's and the other thing that I'm really looking forward to is seeing a world that can all benefit without having one the US dollar to rule them all, or the IMF controlling these smaller countries with their monetary systems and stuff. I'm really looking forward to, maybe I want to buy something directly from a vendor in India that made something super cool, right? And have them be able to sell it to me directly, boom, in seconds, and then it just gets shipped here. I mean, and have them have the same kind of standard of living that we do, right?
Yeah.
So I have a real hopeful thoughts on that. I hope it happens.
Yeah, I think blockchain is going to change everything we know of everything, not just the way we move money, but how we keep data, how technology works, moving forward with AI and automation and everything else that they're robotics and everything that they're creating now. I think blockchain is an essential part of that. And the future of it is great. Like you mentioned, tokenization. Like, I think that's one of the biggest things that people need to learn about if they don't know, because once that happens, then we'll probably see the moon prices that everybody's been talking about for a while now. So, what's one like crypto lesson that you've learned that you'll carry, moving forward in this space?
Gosh, a lesson. Like I said, listen to your own gut is one. Don't get too emotional over it. There's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, or FOMO. And even I, as much as I'm networked in with a bunch of good people, even I can come across something that will make me feel like, oh gosh, I didn't get into that. I should. I got to figure this out. Or somebody will say, like, open this wallet, try this one, and everything's moving so fast, and I'll write it down and I'll open it, and I won't have written my words down and put them in a secure place where, like I normally do. Right now, I'm just doing test things when I'm doing these things. However, it's a good I need to slow down. Like life's going too fast. And so I mean, I just would really say slow down, realize that, if it takes another hour or 2 hours, the price that is, most things are not going to shoot up in a hot second. And if they did, you probably didn't have a chance in hell of getting in the first place. Right. I mean, I'm just saying.
Hey, that's real.
So, a couple pennies is not going to make that big of a difference.
Yeah, it's really not. It's really not. I would say, like you said, take your emotions out of it. I feel like when you're not, moving on emotions, you're able to make more responsible decisions as far as like, holding on while it's going down. Because like when I first got into crypto, man, I thought crypto was gonna blow up tomorrow. Like I didn't have enough time. I didn't have enough time. Like, man, I need to get these bags now. And in hindsight, like, yeah, it's like, man, I had all the time in the world. I mean, we still got time, slow as molasses, as they say. And yes, it's definitely true.
Do you feel like you've evolved over time though? Like when I first got in, it was those guys that they were mildly entertaining. They got your blood pumping, right? And, they did make you kind of feel like, well, I got to get into this. I got to learn about this. And, and then after a while, you're just like, fool, like talking, you keep on saying that every day. It's the bearable bull here, and we're gonna go, and you're like, well,
yeah. After a while,
but we kind of graduate, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like dip a toe. Like I don't ever want someone to feel like when they're watching our show, I don't want them to feel like we're pushing anything on them. We're really just really wanting people to think for themselves, educate, have a place to come in, have conversations. We'll put people in front of them. They can make their own decision, but I don't want to make anyone feel that anxiety that I've felt by watching or listening to some other conversations.
Yeah, I agree on that. I agree because there's so many influences and everybody, has their reasons, whether it's good or bad, so definitely do your own research and know what you hold. And then I hope you maneuver, the industry way better. So we're pretty much at the top of the hour. It went by really quick. So I'm gonna get in this last question and then we can get your last, shout outs or any final words you have to say. So what would be like a bold prediction for crypto in the next 5 years?
Ooh.
We finally moon, or are we gonna be sitting sideways?
I don't know. I mean, in 5 years, I think we're gonna be looking pretty darn good. For whatever reason, I've always had like 2027. I don't know why, but my gut has always said 2027, something significant is gonna happen. Okay. And so, what that means, I don't really know. I don't like to say price predictions, but it's going to be more than it is now for sure. And I think there's going to be regulations. Things are going to be much more clear within 5 years for sure. We're going to have a lot more people coming in, a lot more money coming in, especially with the 401ks and, they've been training all of those, financial advisors and that they've been training them in the background and they're ready to start bringing in the people and they'll slowly bring them in, right? They got to kind of step it in. So in 5 years, it's going to look much different than it does now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think we'll have a bunch of addresses and stuff. I think it'll be mainstream where you could just send crypto with just a number or just a name. I think eventually we'll get to that point, but we're definitely in the middle of this creation, and getting in right now is the perfect time. Getting in period is a perfect time. You're never too late. There's so many projects being created daily. There's so many good, companies and businesses is trying to actually do something with this technology. So take advantage of doing research and learning and change your life with this, man. That's what we're here to tell you guys to do. And that's all you got to do. It's not hard, man. It's really that simple. Get you some crypto. You feel me? So any final shout outs or any final words you have to say? I know you're going to be in Vegas. I'm looking forward to meeting you in Vegas. There's a lot going on. There's so many different events, and I'm looking forward to Vegas. If any of you guys going to Vegas in the chat, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. I'll be performing Saturday at 68J CKJ's crypto meetup, and I'm looking forward to everybody being there. And if you haven't got a ticket, I feel bad because the event is officially sold out. So maybe there might be some at the door if you come last minute, but for everybody else who got their ticket and they're ready, man, I'm looking forward to it. So anything else you have to let the people know?
I just want to say thank you very much for having me on your show. I've watched your show for some time now. I love your music. I love all the people that you've got in your chat. I recognize a lot of them. I thank everybody who supports Dip a Toe. If you're not following us, please do. We're trying to grow our channel. We're trying to get to 1,000 on YouTube. We're at Dip a Toe and at Dip a Toe Show on X. And we stream live every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then lately, per Mr. Zam's recommendation, we've been doing an after space on X from 10 until whenever the heck we decide to stop talking. So we would love for you guys to stop by there.
Man, I love the work you guys is doing, man. Keep at it. Keep letting these people know, keep pushing it, and we're going to continue to stack up these cryptos. So I guess that's going to wrap it up for this episode of X Tales Tell Your Tale. Huge thanks to Melissa, the crypto fire starter behind World Be Free 888 on X and Dip a Toe on YouTube. She's dropped epic insights and showed us how it is to chase greatness in this crypto space. So make sure to follow her on X, tune in to Dip a Toe on Wednesdays, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. Stay bold, dream big, and keep stacking. And make sure, if you like the vibe, make sure you subscribe, man. Show some love. And without further ado, man, I guess that's going to end today's show. So I appreciate you guys for coming through. And I guess we'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace out. It's your boy, Crypto Tales. And we out here in Hollywood about to ask people about crypto if they heard of it. Let them know this is Crypto Combos.
Have you ever heard of crypto?
Of course.
Oh, yeah. So Spider-Man is on gang. So what you know about crypto? You heard of it?
Yeah, I know a little bit about it. I got some friends that are involved in crypto as well.
Back it up on them rain dancers. Opportunity, calling name answer. When it blow up, I'ma go Casper. Yeah, I got it for the low, now you thereafter. Portfolio making hella dough. You already know, I'm not your typical. Get crypto, you know what to do with it. All these profits, I'ma act the fool with it. Gotta get in before it's too late. It's not they get rich quick, man, you gotta wait. While we innovate, they manipulate. Time to demonstrate how to make the cake. Get them ICOs before release date. Yeah, you know, regulation on the way. We don't know the date, we just know our fate. Got no time to waste, waiting on that retrace. When the crypto blow, I be counting dough. My money don't fold, cause it's digital. Gotta get your cryptos critical. Fiat is a joke, you be still broke. New hidden gems had a heat stroke. It's crypto for life, they don't even know. Where we about to go, man, we about to blow. Hey, just pack bags and enjoy the show. Gotta stuff them bags if you buy in the dip. I'll admit I need a crypto scholarship. All I do is hodl, all you do is FOMO. Hope you get the picture, not talking photos. Making money moves, what I tell them. All they really wanna do is sell them. You know I'm coming with that big bag energy. Crypto Tales, I'm the one who they pretend to be. Hope you're making sure that your bag is secure. You suffering from brokenness and I know the cure. I can take you from hopeless to entrepreneur. Picking up some more, watching wallets mature, yeah. Spending XRP with the low fees. Chilling on the island, keep it low key. This ain't investment advice and it's all free. I can help you live that life you supposed to be. When the crypto blow, I be counting dough. My money don't fold, cause it's digital. Gotta get your cryptos critical. Fiat is a joke, you be still broke. New hidden gems had a heat stroke. It's crypto for life, they don't even know. Where we about to go, man, we about to blow. Just pack your bags and enjoy the show. My money don't fold, cause it's digital. Fiat is a joke, you be still broke.
Show the camera, he don't need crypto. My money don't fold, it's digital. Gotta get your cryptos critical. Fiat is a joke, you be still broke. All my crypto bags got a heat stroke. It's crypto for life. They don't even know where we about to go, man. We about to blow. Just pack them bags and enjoy the show. Let them know.
All they gotta do is just
You know
know
what I'm saying?
Zorro.
And I'm with Zorro, for sure. And Spider-Man, the man, got the bands in his hand. Yes, sir. All right, we done. Cut it.